Welcome to the SheShed. I'm your host, Tina Bailey, and I am super excited to have you in the space. Today, I am honored to have a guest that really, yeah, I'm gonna leave that for me. I'm gonna leave that a minute. Hold on, let's back up. So, as you all know, the SheShed is all about bringing individuals into a space where they can be safe and brave and share their story and in an effort to give others an opportunity to share theirs. A lot of times, what we forget is just how much and just how awesome we are as people. It's really hard sometimes. Life will make us feel like we're sitting on an island all by ourselves, and the things that we're going through is just our problem. This month, July, is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. I want to make sure that we understand that. May is mental health awareness, but July is National Minority Mental Health Awareness. And this is a thing. 1 in 4 adults have been diagnosed with mental health issues. However, that number is not at all in alignment with the amount of mental health issues that the minority community suffers, because the minority community usually will not go and get mental health, because y'all know we have been told what goes on in our house stays in our house. And so we keep it like that. That's how we was brought up. That's how, you don't tell nobody your business. But then we wonder why so many of us are struggling with depression, with um, bipolar, narcissistic behaviors, codependency, all the things, or why we don't really understand what's really going on, why are we feeling the way we're feeling. And we shy away from realizing that you can have a therapist and Jesus. Let's just call it what it is. You can have the best relationship with God and still sit on somebody's couch and talk about what's going on. But that's for another day. Today, what I want to do is I want to share with you a young lady that I happen to run across. And she's multifaceted. I love the fact that one of the things about her is she has multiple jobs. And y'all know I'm all about a woman should have 7 streams of income. Baby, you need to have it flowing so that you can be self-reliant. But anyway, her name is Liza Butler. She is an Army vet. She is a reentry employment specialist. And that's one of the things I really want us to talk about in detail. So hopefully she brings that in. She is a mental health advocate. And again, want to talk about that. She is HR manager for Duke Cancer Institute. She's a program coordinator. She's an operations manager. She wear all them hats. But one of the things that I really found absolutely phenomenal, and it kind of made me clutch my pearls and put a smile on my face, is she has a mission, and she knows her personal mission. So if any of y'all have been around me long enough, y'all know I'm all about knowing your personal mission statement. And hers is to fight for those that have forgotten how or cannot fight for themselves. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but that just like kind of did something to me. Like, yeah, let's fight for the underdog so the underdog can come on top. So what I want to do is I want to bring Liza into the room. I have rattled enough. Um, Before I bring her in, if you want to leave comments, if you want to talk back to us, please do so. Put the comments in the chat and we will be responding as we can. Um, all the information you need to do so will be in the link. All right, hold on. Let's bring Liza in. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey Tina, how's it going?
Oh my gosh, it is going pretty good. Thank you so much for coming into the SheShed.
Thank you. I love the SheShed already.
Yes, girl, the SheShed. Yeah, and it's one of them things make you clutch your pearls sometimes, because
Right.
so one of the things that I love about life and about what I get an opportunity to do is to meet with people and allow them a space to just be who they are. There is no agenda in the SheShed. We just talk. And so that's what you are here to do, is to just talk. You heard me give the 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 professional background of who Lisa Butler is.
Yeah.
But I would love for you to take a moment and share with the group who you say you are.
Wow. They okay. I mean, I think I am a hot mess most days in the best way possible. That every day is an opportunity to just go forward because it's about overcoming so much. And I think the biggest thing I've been working on is like loving who my inner child is, like trying to forgive her. And part of like my mission of like why do I want to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves is because there was a long time where I could not love myself because I didn't fight for myself. I just
Hmm.
didn't love myself enough to fight for myself. And there's a lot of life that happens that makes that a true statement. But as the more and more I get to know her, we love her now. We is out here trying to work everywhere and take over the world.
Girl, you got it. Got me a whole bunch of different like roles and hats is going on up in there. But
Yeah.
before we get into that, you said something I wanted to bring up. You said you wanted to forgive the little girl inside of you.
Yeah.
Explain that.
I mean, I think a lot of it comes back to like upbringing and how I was raised and being sent away very young. And unfortunately, a lot of times when children aren't with their families, like with their parents, a lot of things can happen to little girls and you're bounced from place to place. So first I like just resented her because you didn't speak up when something happened to you. And then if you were good, you wouldn't have got sent to the next house and the next house and the next house. And when you grow up moving from place to place, those like places of instability, you never know you're good enough. You never know you are just enough. And like being 41, finally realizing like, girl, you got this. Like you are enough. And even if today is not perfect, it doesn't matter if it's perfect. It just matters if it's done. Have I done my best for myself so I can sleep well at night? And that mindset and therapy helping me get there is like why I wanted to be here today.
Oh wow. Okay, we're gonna talk about that because I be that little girl,
She
love her to pieces. But I wanna, we're gonna talk about it. So tell me about these jobs, all these hats you're wearing. What because I want to get into that, but I
yeah.
don't want to miss anything. I want you to be able to share the resources that you bring into into the she shed
Yeah.
because somebody may need something that you're offering right now.
Yeah, and I love that. So, one, I'm the program coordinator for Rebuild, which comes out of Darkness Rising. So, Black Broadway was like, you know what? There's a lot of mental health issues in our community, and how can we get together and give them away? And so, it was connecting the Black community with Black therapy. And out of that came a lot of people who were formerly incarcerated. Like, incarceration in our community is high. And there's a lot of trauma that happens before prison and then after prison and in prison, and so they launched Rebuild, which is where I'm the program coordinator. And that means anyone, I don't care if you got out of prison today or 10 years ago, if you're interested in mental health services, we will find a therapist for you, pay for therapy for you, connect you however you want to go. And if you don't like them, we'll go back and find another one. So, really passionate about that. I'm
So
operating,
is
oh,
that
sorry,
only for individuals that have been in
incarcerated.
prison, or is that or incarcerated? Is that or is that anyone?
No, I love that question. So if you go to findmeatherapist.org, it doesn't matter if you were incarcerated or not. If you were not incarcerated, we will send you three therapists that match what you're looking for and connect you with them. So that way you can sign up for services. But if you were formerly incarcerated, we do not want the payment or lack of insurance to be a barrier if that's your situation. And that's where we have the vouchers where people can sign up and we'll pay for 10 sessions for them. So yeah, find me at therapist.org. If you do not have a criminal background, we'll still help you. But if you have a criminal background, then we'll pay it.
All right, so I just put it on the board because that's a good resource right there.
Yeah.
So what I just heard you say is even if you haven't been incarcerated, if you are looking for a therapist and you are a person of color and you want to
Yeah.
have a person of color as your therapist,
Yeah.
go to findmeatherapist.org and look around a little bit and get some assistance and don't be shamed because
Don't
there
be
is
ashamed.
there is no shame in getting help for your mental health. I often push and say you would not look down on someone for going to get help if they was having a heart attack. Why would you look down on someone because they're having a mental attack? Like,
And
come on.
that's real. And how many of us are the people that everyone else calls for help, right? They call us and we love that we love you enough for you to come to me and ask me. I'm more than willing to do that. So why can't we realize like accessing mental health is us loving ourselves? It's just
Yeah.
saying, I'm in pain and this is hard and I need someone who I'm not going to hurt with my story. Right? My
Mm,
story impacts so many people that I love that I'm very careful to go that way because you don't want to cause pain, right? So
absolutely.
having someone who's going to be on my side as a resource for my mental health is a beautiful thing that we deserve to give ourselves if we want it.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't you hit on a key thing too, because you said we are the ones that people come to. And so you can't always, well, you should never release who you are to the one that you're called to help.
Right?
So don't do that. If you're called to help them, more than likely they're not in a position to or have the capacity to handle your story.
Yeah.
I always say you vent up. If
Yeah.
something is going on, vent up. Go to
Yeah.
someone that has already been through what you're going through. Don't go to the one that's in what you're in, because all they're going to do is keep you in that, continue to feed that pain and that hurt. So I
Yeah.
love that. But we ain't gonna go down, girl. I could stay there forever because
Right. I felt that
we
too.
that's what we do, and we have this strong, we as women of color, we portray this strong force. So I'm a force to be reckoned with. But like you said, man, we just little girls just trying to make it out here in these streets.
Just try and you know working this many jobs, working in service, and I believe in being a servant leader, right? I believe that God has called me to be a leader by serving, always out of humility, serving, right? That's my call. It costs something to do that. It is heavy to do that, and I don't get it right all the time. And there was a point where I was operating on fumes. Like there was no 10%, there was no 5%. It was gas every day, which means I get up, I go to work, I go to the next job, I go to the next job, and I serve. And thankfully, God helped me to not let my participants, the people I was working with, feel that. But you know who felt it? My coworkers, my team. Because as soon as the participant was gone, I would have nothing left because I'm on fumes. And one day they said something about my facial expressions. Like, you always look so tough. I was like, I wear a lifetime of battles on my face. I can't change it for you. And even just recognizing that it's okay sometimes if you cannot smile. It is okay if you look tired. Did you still show up with positive intent to serve those who need you? Yes. But it doesn't matter if you can't serve yourself too. I was on fumes and I don't ever want to be there again because I love to serve.
Mhm.
But you got to
What
balance.
does what does serving look like to you?
Sometimes it's something as simple as go when I'm in the grocery store, you don't even want to make eye contact with me. And if I see someone who looks good, sometimes you see someone and you could tell they put that outfit on that day and they love how they look. You don't even need me to tell you, but yo, I see you, sis. I see you. Serving is every deliberate step you take to say to someone, I see you. That's
Yeah.
all it is. I see you. There's something powerful about that because how many of us couldn't even see ourselves through the pain, right?
Come on, that part. That
Yeah.
part. That's so key. Like, yeah, I'm a firm believer. Like, you can find something. I mean, there's always something that you can compliment someone about.
And it's a sincere thing. Even if I don't have to think that you look amazing, but I see that you feel that. And that's what's beautiful. It's not the outfit, it's not the facial features, it's not the hair. It's just someone in their own. And sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes I'll see somebody and you could tell they got nothing. They don't know, they just don't got nothing. And I'll just, hey, can I sit with you for a minute? Period. Right? Sometimes it's just being willing to see someone and not try to make them conform to what you think is right, right? Understanding everyone gets to define where they're at, and can you be safe enough for them to do that?
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
mm,
Can you be safe enough for them to just be who they are?
yeah,
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 yeah, that's good.
yeah.
Um, okay, so we was talking about your different hats. So we talked about being the advocate for rebuild. What
Mhm.
else do you do? You
So I work for an organization called Success While in Transition, and we catch men, and right now focused mainly on men, but coming home from incarceration and working through 21 principles. You said one. I wish I could remember what you said. Oh, one of ours is called multiple streams of income are the key to success, right? mirror your role models, man your station. And we just take time to break down these principles because it's going to happen. You have a plan, you think everything's going to go great, and life hits you. Is your mind and your spirit strong enough to stand in the face of opposition and know you're going to win anyway? Okay, so we want to help you through that because you had to learn and adjust to being in prison and what that meant. You have to learn and adjust what it is to be out here. And
That's
we
right.
want to walk with them in that journey. So that's what, and we're really trying to get into prison. So let us in. But that's another one. And then I work for Reentry House Plus as well. And just again, trying to structure and build something so that when someone comes in, they go out defining what success is for them and doing that. And then Duke Cancer Institute. So my mom 3 years ago got diagnosed with lung cancer. Cancer runs in our family, and usually you
Mhm.
get it and it's over for you, and they caught it early enough. And it's during COVID, the height of COVID. I can't go in the hospital, and I watch these nurses and doctors and all the people, the oncologists. I couldn't get in there and be by my mom's side because of the situation. I
Right.
watched what they did, and I said, if I could ever, I prayed about it, like if I could ever find a way to get in and help. So I'm human resources, which is not at all doing cancer research, but it's supporting the people who do the work,
Absolutely.
right? Supporting
Absolutely.
those who are out there doing the things. And I wish sometimes, like, you know how that quote that says about what can get done if you don't care who gets the credit,
Hmm.
right? I just want to support. I want to be the person behind the person. You go do it and be excellent, and I'll throw every bit of who I am behind your back.
I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
But that's a servitude attitude. Like that is, to me, that is a service attitude. Like you wear it well. That's just who you are. Like you said, your whole mission is about fighting for those that can't fight for themselves or don't know how, or they was never given a chance. And it's what I'm hearing is, baby, I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm not only gonna give you a chance, I'm gonna stand in the ring with you.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what's needed. So
yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love that. We need more people that are willing to get in the fight. Because I'm you can't I don't believe that you can fight for people, but honey, you get a whole bunch of courage when you know you got somebody standing behind you.
Hey, if you
You
got a rider behind you, you feel different, right? You feel different. And there's a lot of life and a lot of seasons that I went through all by myself. And I was married before. And during the season where it's leading up to our separation, I felt so alone. I felt like I couldn't tell anyone what was going on, what the real was. And I had people outside looking in, kind of judging and seeing all of these things. And that's a very lonely feeling when you're trying to fight for freedom and success and peace, and everyone's telling you all the reasons you're wrong. It's lonely, right?
it's very lonely.
Nah, but you know who was by my side?
Hmm.
18-year-old, an 18-year-old that I met on the dance team. And I called her in the middle of the night and said, I need your help. Can you come? And that baby came. She left college and came and helped me. And it took sometimes the wisdom of youth to help you realize like they are down for whatever. Like if you need me, and I want to always keep that young part of me that says, let's fight this thing together. Like, because I see it's all someone beginning to love themselves. I think anytime you see someone want to start a fitness journey, a financial journey, a professional journey, anything, it's there's something in them that they want to love into like fruition. So they need us to be warriors and encourage them on the days they're down. But that doesn't mean that we don't need warriors too.
That's
We
right.
need it too.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And it's funny because most of the time we will find our warrior in places that we never thought to look.
Yeah. Like where did you even come from?
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And when you're not looking, because
Yeah.
when you are looking for it, you're so focused on the image of what you want it to look like that you miss it.
Yeah.
And then when it shows up, you're like, oh, that's what it was supposed to look like. I saw you 10 years ago. Like, yeah, I was sitting there waving my hand like, here I am. But. And so I love that you said that. Like, it's going to be in places that you just don't know.
Mm-mm.
It's going to show up in ways you just don't know. You just got to position yourself to be ready. And that's what I heard you say. You was a couple things. You was looking for it, and you called out. You reached out and said, look, can you come help me? I need your help.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole mental health thing is about, right?
It really is, and it took it took therapy. My therapist, she the truth. She hung in there. I first met her, and I was already in my mind like, she can't help me because something happens to us when we're in pain. Our defenses are up, even though you want something and you need someone kind of strong and resilient to be by your side. Um, but I was looking for it and couldn't recognize it, and there was a long time I didn't even know I wanted help. I just thought I need to make it through. I need to just make it through instead of realizing I want to eliminate what's there. And that's the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't regret anything about my life. Not the I don't think you mentioned this, but I served 5 years in prison. I don't regret the prison sentence. I don't regret anything that happened to me when I was little. I don't regret any of it. I do regret that I did not know that I was loved. Like, if no one
mhm,
else in this world loved me, like God loved me from the very beginning. And if I would have ever understood that, it could have changed so much for me. And so, how do you get someone to understand? You don't even got to love yourself. Someone bigger than you loves you until
that
you
part.
can love yourself,
Until
right?
you can. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's constantly telling yourself that, like, there's someone that loves me. There's someone that loves me.
Mm.
Because, so often when we go through things, and I want to talk about your incarceration, but when you don't realize, and you don't feel love, you find yourself trying to love others in hopes that they will love you back.
Oh my God. I don't even know why you had to even go there, Tina. I mean, I don't feel like that was even a fair thing to do. Because it's loving someone when you don't love yourself means there's no protection there. And I'm guilty of that. I will let down every barrier, everything I ever had, because this is the person and I'm going to be so good and love them so well that they're going to love me back. That's not that's not how it works. And I
No.
never knew that. I never knew that. I wish I would have known that. And how can we help other people realize that? Right? It's like it starts here. But I will say, I have some amazing people in my life now. Like, I thank God for each and every one of them. But with me, you got to kick my butt to learn things. Like, you got to verbally kind of hang in there with me because I'm tough, and like I'm like that. But the people who I consider my circle now, each kept telling me something until I could believe it for myself, right? Each one kept saying something to me until I believed it. And some of them are years, hanging in there for years and constantly repeating to me the same thing about myself over and over until I could recognize, like, oh, that might be true. And once I realized it was true, that was all I needed. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a friend that often says, I'm a little slow, but I'm worth waiting on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
keep telling me. I promise you, it's gonna come.
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch it.
Yeah.
But that was good, like you just said. You have to center yourself around people who aren't so quick to give up on you. Don't give up
Mm-hmm.
on me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worth it. I'm
Yeah.
worth it. I might
Yeah.
not know it.
Yeah.
That woman may not know she's worth it, but she's worth it. And if
Yeah.
you love her, just hang in there with her.
Yeah.
Um, and you said something else about, when you're trying to love someone else, and you don't love yourself, or you're hurting, you don't even know what reciprocity is. So you can't expect it to come back.
Yeah.
You don't
And
expect.
that's no, that's so real. And I think one of the things that was the hardest about that, right? At this point where I don't like, much less love myself, is I had people trying to give me love and affection. I'm never going to trust it. I don't feel safe in it. I'm always insecure about it, right? Because you can't receive something that you don't understand. It feels
Absolutely.
unsafe. It
Absolutely.
feels unsafe. When I first started my relationship, and he told me he loved me, I busted out crying, horrified. And I was like, everybody who loves me beats me or leaves me. I don't want you to love me. Like, be my friend. And that was true for me, very true for me. And that just, it breaks my heart. Especially now, because like, now that I know, I love deep and I love true,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That is true. Like, if you have ever been mishandled by the words "I love you," you put up this wall, and anytime it comes to you, you associate that pain. You
Mm.
associate it with pain instead of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I can so relate to that. You tell me you love me, I'm looking at you strange. What do you want from me?
like like you want something. What do you want? Just talk,
Yeah,
tell me what you want.
yeah. Tell
Yeah.
me what you want. Don't give me them words. I don't need that. Just tell me what you want. I'll let you know if I can do it or not.
Mm.
But you telling me you love me just turned me off. I don't want to have nothing to do
Yeah.
with you.
And
But
I
baby, when you
mm,
find it,
when you find it, and I think this is why mental health really is so important too, because I'm not there yet. Today I feel good and I feel great and I'm confident in that. And tomorrow something might happen that'll shift it, right? And it's a constant work in progress and it's a constant thing. And I say that because if you could call my foster sister, you could call my best friend, you could call any of them, and they're gonna tell you, oh no, love is last on Lisa's list, because it really is. It's still, I'm still very guarded about it, even though now I know what it is and I have it. I still am very protective. And so if you're not true and I can't trust you and you're not loyal and you don't have respect and honor, I'll never love you. That's my statement. I'm still working on what unconditional and free love means.
well, okay. So I mean, there's so many things that I can go into that because one of the things is I think that, not think, I teach often that we don't attract what we are, what we want, we attract what we are. We don't attract what we want, we attract what we are. So as we go through this thing of having these walls up, we're going to attract people that have their walls up. Okay. And then we're trying to figure out, let your wall down, let your wall down. But you ain't let your wall down, you know? So how can they let theirs down? And
Yeah.
then the other thing you said was gosh, it was good. You said I was as I call ear hustling. I was listening to it. But as when you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out, what is it that that person wants from you, and so you're constantly. I'm not looking for love is the last. What you said, love is the last thing on your list,
Yeah.
right? And then you talk about unconditional love. But my question to you is, and it's a loaded question. What does unconditional love even look like?
Yeah. I think unconditional love, and I can only use like my parents for an example. These are, I love my parents. I love my parents. Did not grow up with my parents. It was not that kind of relationship. Um, and then I'm all grown up and sending every resource I have back. My mother and I have a pretty difficult relationship. It's just always been that way my whole life. And when my mother called, I drop everything and I go. I will give everything I have to serve you, to be here for you. Because even though you wasn't there for me, you are my mother, right? You are, that means something to me. To me, that's unconditional. Her and my dad might be, and my family, like, yeah, her and my dad might be the only ones who get that from me. But I wish I could say that's true. And even saying it, I know it's a lie. Because friend, family, anyone, unconditional love is not even about the person, it's about your intention, right? So I've had people betray me in the worst way possible. And when they needed to be served, when they needed assistance, I'm not going to make you feel like a monster about it. I'm not going to make you feel like I pity you. I genuinely want to help you. I want to be able to bless and release you. I want to give you everything that is at my disposal to help you. And that's where I get still. I told you I struggle because I don't have that barrier that I want, because my heart naturally goes to giving, but sometimes I feel like I'm giving more than I'm capable of carrying, because the cost of that earlier, well, so one thing, I always ask people that I work with, what's the thing that can set you back? You have
Mhm,
this plan and you're on this journey and you're going to do
mhm.
great. But what's the thing? And for some people, it's sex. And for some people, it's drugs. And other people, it's finances. For me, it's love. It's the love of my family. If I've been sick, I've had 6 surgeries on my neck in the past 3 years. They didn't come. In January, I got rushed from work to the hospital with chest pains. They thought I was having a heart attack. Heart attack. My family didn't come. My family doesn't come for me. They don't call. They call when they need something. And that's a detrimental kind of love to me, because I feel this the responsibility of, if my family calls, I'll empty my bank account. I'm packing up my house and I'm going down there to take care of them for however long it takes. So there's a part of it that feels good to me. There's a part of me that wishes I could still learn where's the boundary. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to stay in a host role and not switch into coach,
Yeah.
because because we have to realize, like, again, we attract who we are, and we so often we want people to show up as us. They can't. They're not you. That's what you would do,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
but we do. We like, why you can't just love me the way I love you? Why can't you just do me the way you do me? Because they're not us.
Yeah.
And that's not their role.
Yeah.
And so remember, we was talking about venting up. Like,
Yeah.
where you have to lift up
Yeah.
to get that love and what you need and give it to those that's under you.
Yeah. And that's the thank you for saying that. And that's also the challenge, right? Because in my work, in the community, I don't expect anything. I freely give. When it
Yep.
comes to your family,
Yep.
right? There's the expectation. And then when that expectation isn't met, it's very easy to lean into hurt and pain and resentment.
Yeah.
And if I could ever figure out how to just serve my family without, but I don't know, because I think there's a part of you too that when it comes to family, you should expect them to show up. And I'm working on it. It's for my
But what if
therapist.
they don't have the capacity? What if they can't? What if they don't have it in them to give you what you need? Like,
You
some
we
people just don't have it.
I know we should have put she's also judgy in my bios. Like, why wouldn't you? And my mom, when this situation happened with my aunt, and I'm in Florida, I'm like, Mommy, why wouldn't you do this thing? She's like, you always expect everybody to do it the way you do it. Yes, I do. And if you can, and this is my family. Again, my community, my friends, I give them a lot of grace. And my family, again, it's about loving that inner child. All this pain that happened to me when I was a child, and you didn't, you were responsible for me. Cool, you didn't do it then. Now you're an adult, and I can articulate to you what I need from you, and you're not doing it. And it's not fair. I'm being unfair. And I think too that's unconditional love. I'm not just pointing a finger at my family and saying they're wrong. I'm saying I understand that my pain and my desire for what I want relationship to be is causing me to lash back out. Right. And I think that's what unconditional love is too, is not just thinking you are right, but also looking at how you cause harm to the people you profess to love.
Wow, that's deep. I had to write that one down, girl. That was deep. That was deep. That was deep. Um, so yeah, so okay, so we know that the whole some of the gist of what we want to focus in on is the things that we do for love. Like,
Yeah.
we do a lot of stuff.
Mm-mm-mm.
We do a lot of stuff in the name of love.
Mm,
Yeah.
all the time. Just
All the time. And we sit there and try to figure out, like you just said, but I did it because I love you. Can't you love me back enough to do it back? Like,
yeah.
there were some things that happened in Miss Lisa's life that was done for the sake of love.
Mm, mm. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, it's and I think the hard thing is like it's the whole life. It's a whole life of I love these people, so I'm gonna either go get this money, put my body in a situation to protect the ones under me, go do this, sacrifice everything to go help that one. Like, I'm constantly that person. Ooh, I should have for love, not went to prison, right? I love this man. I love him. And if he's going to do this, even if I'm like, babe, I don't want to. We're 25 and we have everything we want, and my nieces live with us, and we have great jobs, and we don't even need to do this. And it's always that one more time. And instead of letting him do what he wanted to do, I'm going to go with him. And then they say, oh, well, if you testify, we'll let you go home and nothing. And I'm take me back to myself because I love him. I would never, ever. And then we go to prison, and then we get out, and he went to his family, and I love him. So I'm going to come to Raleigh, and I'm going to live in the transitional house. I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to save money, and I'm going to bring him out here. And I'm going to do all these things because I love him. And I'm going to forgive you after you've done X, Y, Z, this, and this, because I love you. What? That's good. Hello? Hello?
I mean, yeah.
No. No, I'm saying that to
Mhm,
myself. I wish
mhm.
someone would have told me that I love is good. Love is a beautiful thing. I mean, wow. If you don't love yourself enough to keep yourself from sacrificing your entire life to keep someone, Not if you're living the right life. Some things you might need to give up because you're out here cutting up and no one told you to do that. But if it's at that point where it jeopardizes everything else, loving him made me forget about loving my niece, made me forget about loving the life that I had built. I didn't care about anything else because I want to keep this person. And then prison separated us anyway, didn't it? So
Yep.
did we keep each
Yep.
other or not?
Yep.
Yeah.
You just said something though. You said you wish someone had told you, but would you have listened? Would you have heard them?
Don't come for me, Tina. That's not nice.
I'm just saying. Listen,
That's not nice.
we sing the same song. We on the same note. I have done some crazy stuff for love too.
Yeah,
So they wouldn't have. I wouldn't have heard it.
I wouldn't have heard it.
I
I
wouldn't
really
have heard
wouldn't.
it.
And at that point, me and my dad were talking every day. You know, my dad always has been one to kind of affirm me about my writing skills and about this and about that. And you don't have to, man, don't. I went to Dominican Republic to see my sister. The thought of leaving him to go meet my sister, we've always spoken on the phone. I'd never been able to get there and meet her in person. I'm going finally, a lifetime. I've been waiting for this moment. And the thought of leaving him for 10 days, I was an emotional basket case. I'm not kidding. Boo hoo crying and everything. Sometimes instead of doing the work to love ourselves, we create an unhealthy dependence on
On
someone
someone
else.
else. That's
That
right.
unhealthy dependence will lock you down. And I can't even be mad at him for that. I do not resent that man. I wish him well in everything he does because I did that. Instead of putting in work to just get myself okay, latched onto him in a way that also can suffocate. It can suffocate instead of giving it room to grow.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
So what was the turning point? What was the part where you realized, oh man, this is not the right kind of love. This is unconditional love the wrong way. What was the turning point for you?
It was
Because clearly it wasn't going to jail.
it wasn't.
Because
You
when you got out, y'all was still together.
We got married. We got together. We're living our best life, I thought. And it took, there's someone I love very much. She's very important to me. And she told me something. She told me something, and I watched. And that changed everything. It took, so I guess the answer is sometimes it's a person you love being able to tell you a hard truth and you knowing that person enough to believe them. And sometimes when you love someone, you can be blinded to a lot of things because of that love, right? It's such a important thing to get yourself right first. I don't know how much more I can say that because I was so blinded and fixated on from 1988 till 2000, I lived in a different house almost every year, right? From a little girl, I went from my grandma to my aunt to my aunt to my aunt to my grandma to my mom to my dad to my mom, boom, boom, to my foster mom. Like I just got shipped around. All I wanted was somewhere where I belonged. And because I met this man very young, 20 going on 21, it seemed like the answer. If I'm good and I'm this, and that means that I allowed a lot and just did a lot to stay there instead of staying here.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. That's so good. That's so good. Oh my gosh, you're gonna hear that one again. Um, I think that it's so key. We talked about that little girl in the beginning, right?
Mm.
If there was something that you could tell her now as an adult that's looking back at her, what would you tell her?
I'm laughing because so I started therapy a year ago in April, and she talked to me about little girl work, and I got very testy. I'm not talking about my little girl. I want her to stay where she's at. And what I realized maybe like 3 months ago was I am doing to her what everyone else did. Shut up, be quiet. I don't want to hear what you have to say. And then I went to my therapist and said, I want to do this. I want to do this now while I'm in a position where I'm okay. Instead of PTSD and night terrors and triggers and anxiety coming for me, let's do it now while I'm okay. And one, I would tell my little girl, like, you safe now. Like it's okay. And I know it's still scary. This is what my therapist told me. Like I'll never forget it. Like I know it's scary, but like let's just sit here and sit together and see how we feel about it. And let's just try. And I know you're scared, and that's okay. But what I've realized the most is she's not scared. That little girl is the me before any of the trauma happened. Everything that happened later is trying to keep her back. That person who was free and loving and trusting and fun and right. So I've realized I love her now, and that I want her to know I'm so sorry that this happened to you, and we're okay now. Like, let's
Oh
go
my
forward.
gosh. My heart just went pitter pat because I have been wanting to go there. And I'm like, okay, how do I say that? Because you have to make sure a person is in a space to receive what you're saying, right? And I was like, when you said, I have to forgive the little girl, and I'm like, and I say this all the time. We all have a little girl that's inside of us,
Yeah,
and she is terrified. She has witnessed everything you have witnessed in your
yeah,
life,
yeah,
and she's scared. She don't
yeah,
know what to do. She did nothing wrong. Like you said, it was before.
yeah.
She was there before all the other stuff.
Right,
And
right.
she wasn't the one that was bad. She wasn't the
Mm-mm,
one acting up. She was
mm-mm.
sitting in a corner somewhere watching you do all those things. I always attest, my favorite movie is The Color Purple. My favorite
Yeah,
scene is when Celia is sitting and looking at Mr. like this and looking. And I'm like, that is what the little girls in us are doing, like looking saying,
yeah.
what are you
Like,
doing?
like, why is you doing this right now? Yeah, yeah. And it's been great. It's been when I was started smoking weed and drinking on my 12th birthday. And now that I'm older and I've learned more, I realize like you can block out a lot of things, your child. And then add that in the party lifestyle, right? I'm partying until I go to prison. And then I'm 25. It was about 27 when I start remembering a lot of the things that happened to me. And that's what always made me afraid to try to heal, because this is me having all of this stuff without me picking at it. If I pick at it, it's gonna be worse, right? Like, don't pick the scab, it's gonna bleed, and then
Yep, yep,
no.
yep.
And so that kept me afraid. And that's the thing too. Like, when you're so afraid, when you're just afraid of yourself, when you're afraid of yourself, how can you receive or give love to anyone else? You
Mm.
can't. So I'm not, yeah, I'm not afraid no more. It took a long time, but like, let's go get it. And I love where I'm at now, and I'm not there. And it's a process and it's a journey, but like, I love that I'm brave enough to try. Cause like, little girl, you right, she's off trying to jump off the swings and sliding out. She's running around living her best life, and it's as you grow older that you no, don't do that. No, don't do that. Okay, well, let's stop telling her no.
Oh my God. See, that part. Like, when do you get to the point that you stop being so cautious of what could happen, that you just really in love, you just love and love yourself.
Yeah,
You just love
yeah, and
because
that's
we'll do
it.
it for everybody else. We'll do it for everybody else. Imagine what
Why
life
do
could be
we?
like if go
No, no,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I mean, why can't I heard you when you said, that's why I stopped. Why can't we love ourselves, love us the way we love everybody else?
Even yes, and even more than that. So I do this. I have toxic habits, right? One of them does go back to that period as a young child, which is I won't eat for whatever. I will not eat. I will not eat. And it's not because I'm trying to lose weight. I'm not on no spiritual fast. I will be here starving and feel like the only thing I deserve to do is work 4 jobs in one day. I do not deserve to go in there, because if I was more productive and better with my and I'll that inner dialogue will start. If you were more productive, if you had done what you were supposed to do on the weekend, you would have did it. And I will do that to myself. It's a form of punishing myself.
Mm,
Why do we think we do not deserve to take care of ourselves? Why do we think we do not deserve to love ourselves the way we love everyone else? Why do we think we do not deserve to give ourselves the chance at a great day the way we would kill ourselves to make sure everyone else has one? I don't know why we do that, but I don't want to keep doing that to myself,
I was just going to ask you. I'm gonna turn it around and ask you, why do we do that? I
because
don't
there's
know.
a part of me that still struggles with believing I am completely worthy and deserving of love. Right? And sometimes I'm great, um, and then life happens, and something happened with my mom in January with the cancer coming back and chemo and radiation, and then my me going to the hospital, my dad having a stroke, and me rearranging my whole house and bringing them here, and then them saying no, I want to go back to Florida. So it's the rejection all over again, and them leaving me all over again, and me not being good, and all of that led to me saying, and you don't deserve nothing, right? To myself.
Mm.
right? And it's funny how much we can build up how much we love ourselves and we're going to treat ourselves better, but sometimes that pain comes back and you forget all of that and you're laid out and you can't do anything. It's a continual process.
So what does so we said what you would tell the little Lisa. What do you need to tell the if you was looking at yourself and you was being an advocate for you, what would you say to you right now, the 41-year-old Lisa?
um I don't know. I don't know, it took more me recognizing that I had the potential to cause someone pain than anything else. I still am working on, I'm sorry I don't have a better answer, but I am still
No.
working on every single day believing that I am worthy and deserved of love. It's just very hard for me.
Okay. So can I ask you a question? It's another
Mhm.
question. Well, I've been asking you questions the whole time, but can I ask you a thought question?
Yeah, of course.
And I want to set the scene. You are your best friend
Mhm.
and you know everything about your best friend. Like she told you everything that ever happened to
Yeah, I
her.
love my best friend.
Yeah, okay. All right. But imagine you are that best friend and you're feeling whatever you're feeling right now. What would you tell your best friend to encourage her to get up and move one more time?
I I would tell her what I know to be true and why she is amazing and phenomenal. You got this. I would do that for them. It's hard for me to receive things like that. And I'll tell you the truth about me. What gets me up is to not look in the mirror and to not look around. I look up. My standard is up, right? My standard is up. And he's the only one who can tell me like he's the only one who could tell me. So I don't know if
No, no, no. I don't have no right or wrong. I won't
yeah,
looking for a right or wrong answer.
yeah.
I'm just looking for, you know, I'm just asking you to just see to try to give yourself that same thing that you would give your best friend because you're so deserving. You are doing phenomenal work.
Yeah.
I am glad to have crossed paths with you. I am glad that someone sent me the interview that you did, and I'm going to tag that interview with this one because it was a really, really good interview.
Thank you.
Um, but I knew that there was so much more to Lisa, and I wanted to get to know her as a woman. I wanted to get to know her as a survivor and
Yeah.
as someone that has a love for people. Like I can feel the true love that you have for others. And I just want to say thank you for being in existence.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank
I
you for
thank you.
saying that.
I
Thank you
thank
for
you.
saying that. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm gonna work on it somewhere. I
Yeah.
think Tina, honestly, I think all of us are different and all of us have our own way of operating. I feel like when I got introduced to like faith and being saved, I'm 27 at that point, and I decided to take that journey and I read. And I feel that I don't even know how you're gonna receive this one, but I feel like I was a horrible person before. I feel like I did horrible things for whatever the reason. I feel like there's a consequence and a cost to that, and so that's why I said like I don't get too caught up on what I deserve or not. I was given grace. Like I was given forgiveness. I have no college degree. I have a felony record. I am the human resource departmental manager at Duke Kansas Institute. I feel like my grace is everything I deserve. And then I have a responsibility to get up every day and create an avenue for other people. If you want it, there's nothing we can't do, like there's nothing we can't do. So I think I focus more on that than anything.
I love that. No, I received that well. I
Yeah.
received that well. I just feel like I want to stand in that space to be your cheerleader, just like you're cheering for everyone else. So I appreciate you. I
Thank
thank you
you.
for taking the time out of your day to come out and hang with me in the SheShed. And I'm going to close out, but I want you to hold on because I want to talk back to you again. So hold on a
Okay.
moment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on. Okay, so y'all heard it straight, no chaser. That's how we do it around here. She brought it, and she said, she said a lot of things, but it's some things I want to touch on and I want to reiterate. So often we as women, we can get caught up operating in fumes. And she talked about that, how she was she was doing everything she needed to do in order to be there for her clients. And then when she got to her coworkers, they was getting the fumes. And if they were getting fumes, what was she getting? She was getting nothing. She had nothing left to give to herself. Imagine walking through life giving everything you have to everyone else, but not having anything left for you. Y'all, that's a miserable feeling. Ask me how I know. It's a miserable feeling. But remember, that is not what you were called to do. That's not what you were called to be. She also said something about she was expecting them to show up. She was expecting others to show up. But I want you to think about this for a moment. I want you to pause and I want you to tell yourself, if you don't show up for you, nobody else is going to show up for you. There is no knight in shining armor coming. You are the knight, and you better get on that horse and show up for yourself because there is no one else coming. And so often we're looking for someone else to come in, and there is no one. When we think about that little girl on the inside of us, she saw everything that you have gone through, and baby, she loves you unconditionally. That's that unconditional love that Lisa was talking about. That little girl loves you, and she has stuck by you. Even though you cast her out, even though you talk junk about her, she's still right there loving you, saying, Mommy, I'm here. And she's waiting for you to give her that love that no one else ever gave her. She didn't rebel against you. She really didn't. She didn't rebel against you. She's somewhere sitting in the corner crying, trying to figure out what we're going to do next, Mama. And maybe you need to take the moment and take the time to just show her some love and show and love on her the way you love on everyone else. It is time for you to make yourself the priority in your own life and become the CEO. Because remember, you are the boss. It is all about what do you want this to look like? And as the boss, you are also a CEO. And as a CEO, you get a chance and an opportunity to promote, demote, and terminate anything and everything that is no longer serving you, even if it's your own beliefs. I hope that this episode helped you. I know it helped me. Girl, made me clutch my pearls a couple times. But I want to make sure that not only are you clutching your pearls, but that you're realizing you deserve anything and everything that you want because God will not withhold it for you. But the enemy will put you in a position to make you feel like you shouldn't have it. Who you going to listen to? All right. I love you. I'll see y'all next week. Talk to you. Bye.